What's up? So hope you can hear me. Cool, you can. How's it going, everybody? How was everybody's weekend? Hey, Nathan. Oh, you said, of course, it'll backfire, and for all we know, Esme could be faking it all along to the point where she's actually killed Brando, Rory, etc., with Heather trying to protect her and all. I don't know if it'll go that far, but, you know, there is definitely potential for backfiring. But we'll see. We'll see. But how is everybody doing today? You guys good? It's been a bit of a crazy weekend for me. In a good way, in a fun way. Friday was St. Patty's Day, so of course I went out and celebrated that. With a good friend of mine who I hadn't seen since, I think, October. Like Halloween, I think. Or was it Halloween? October at some point was the last time I had seen my friend. And then last night, had a drunk Disney night with my friend Amber and my friend Avery, which was so fun. Definitely got drunk, but I'm not hungover. So, bonus for me. I don't think my friends can say the same, though. They were pretty rough and struggling. Oh, man. Also, it's Drunk Disney. Oh, Drunk Disney. Okay, so basically, Drunk Disney is when you go on Disney Plus, or really just watch a Disney movie, and you make drinking games out of the movie. We watched 2 movies, and we played drinking games for both of them. We watched Tarzan, and we watched Little Mermaid. And so, like, basically we had things that we would just drink to, and then things that we would take a shot to. Like for Tarzan, we had to take a shot whenever the character Clayton fired his gun. And whenever Tarzan did his, like, call thing, like that, oh, that thing. I'm not going to try to do it. That was a fail. And then for Little Mermaid, I think we took a shot whenever the trident was used by Ariel's father. And, oh, and when Ariel would use, like, a human item the wrong way. But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Watching the guys 12 out of screen. Wait, what screen? What? But yeah, it was a fun weekend. Fun weekend with good friends, so not complaining. Had some green beer on St. Patty's Day, of course. And just some good pub food, because, you know, had to do it right. Yeah, also, shout out Sabrina being back in the YouTube streaming vibe. I've been watching her all week. I haven't been in the chat much, because I usually have to watch, like, after she's been live. But I've been watching, so. Oh, watching a YouTube 12-hour video screen, and I was waiting for this video. Oh, okay. What were you watching? Because I do that. I do the same thing, Kaiwan. Like, usually, like, when I go to bed, I keep my computer on all night, not gonna lie. And just have, like, sounds in nature. Or, like, a video of, like, a jungle and, like, a rainforest. Sometimes it's just a beach scene. Sometimes it's a live stream of like, Africa. Like, the watering hole. And, sometimes it's the eagle's nest in Florida. And sometimes it is, a resort in Maui, where whales appear. just wore green on March 17th. I wore a green bow tie at work. And I still wore that bow tie when I went out for drinks later that night. Sorry, Jane. You said your question to you. Oh, I have a very interesting style. Yeah, well, today I'm all over the place. I am currently wearing leopard print pants or sweats. A little bracelet that says Rockstar. You know, trying to put it out there in the universe. And then a Tom Ford, you know, top and a camouflage hat. My style is that I have no actual style. I just wear what I want. And I'm good, Kaiwan. What's the name of the Irish holiday? St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, St. Patrick's Day. Everyone celebrates it. It really is an excuse to drink. Like, it's a bit silly. Funny enough, like, in 2020, on March 17th, is when, like, the world, like, officially shut down, at least in Edmonton. Like, I was laid off that day from work. So we were, like, chuckling at the Facebook memories of, like, oh, we're all taking, like, a selfie together because we got laid off halfway through our shift. Oh, I'm definitely into glam rock, for sure, Kaiwan. I love me some glam rock. Hey, Sandy. Huh. And then today was a really relaxing day, actually. All my friends went home and nursed their hangovers. Me and my mom were just watching, I think his name is Isaiah Garza or something like that. He does this YouTube channel where he's just basically helping, like, homeless people, either with like doing little things like buying them meals and, you know, giving them a handful of money or giving them a hotel stay for the night, or raising money to get them apartments and things like that. Just because sometimes you gotta, you know, watch things that'll get you into your feels and, like, get you all emotional. So me and my mom were just, like, crying all morning. And then we took the doggo for, not for a walk, for a trip to the doggy park. And he was living his best life. And it was nice to get fresh air because it was nice out today. The snow's starting to melt here. It's, like, above zero now, but we'll see how long that lasts. Because this time of year, Alberta tends to flip-flop with the weather. We'll get, like, nice spring weather. The snow will melt completely. And then out of nowhere, we'll get, like, a big, like, 3-foot drop of snow. So I think we're in full spring right now. And then we'll probably get one blast of winter sometime in April. And then it'll melt again. And that'll hopefully be the last of it. Thought you were part of the glam glow revival. Hey, you know what? Hey, if I can bring that back with my style, I'm down. Glam rock is the best. News that something was messed up when Disneyland, Disney World, the NBA, and my college gave us an extra week of spring break. That something was wrong. Man. Yeah, for us, like we knew it was COVID related. Like I work for customer service in a mall, so, like, at this point, all the stores around us were already closed. So, like, we were the last ones standing besides, like, security and, like, the janitors and, you know, what have you. And then we were all, like, it was to the point where we were just kind of hanging out at the, like, stations together. I was with one of the security guards and we got, like, the email, like, after 5 o'clock that, like, everyone was getting laid off. So, like, you know, we knew it was going to happen. It was just, like, a matter of time, or, like, a matter of when. And my boss, honestly, she's such a sweetheart. She was crying because she was, like, feeling so bad for all of us, but I was like, well, the entire world is going through this, so like don't get scared. We'll get through it. Blah blah blah. We all were strong for her. Honestly, it's nice to have a boss that really like genuinely cares about us. I'm a lucky guy in that way. All right, but let's not talk about the past. Let's talk about the now. Let's talk about GH. Never knew it would get that bad. I never knew it would last that long. God, we're still feeling the, you know, ramifications today. It was so strange seeing shelves of the grocery stores, or empty shelves, yeah. Yeah, because that was like the week everyone was like grabbing toilet paper and hand sanitizer. Like, dude, someone even tried to grab sanitizer off of my desk, like, to steal it. It was crazy. Whole world was in a timeout, yeah. But crazy, like, COVID's still around. Like, my cousin had it recently, and man, it roughed her up. But she's recovering now, so it's all good. She's out in Florida. Alright, but without further ado, welcome to General Hospital MV, my GH after show. I'm so stoked to get into it. What do you think about Esme going free? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that for sure. But I want to start with, what for me was my absolute favorite scene of the week that I feel absolutely captures exactly why I feel like the veteran characters and actors deserve to be showcased on the show, because, you know, it's a rarity that shows last as long as soap operas. Like, General Hospital's been around 60 years, and so when you're lucky enough to have a genre like that, certain things tend to hit harder emotionally, especially when you know the long, rich history of the characters and the undeniable chemistry between the actors who have worked together as long as they have. Where do we begin, Victor? We're talking about my favorite scene. We're talking about Okay, yeah. Sorry, I'll read all your comments in a second, because we're going all the topics today, y'all. All the topics. But yeah, I want to talk about this scene first, though. So it involves Felicia, Kevin, and Mac. So basically, Felicia ran into Kevin and Laura at the Metrocourt restaurant, and of course, the topic of Ryan Chamberlain came up, and Felicia really wanted to check on how Kevin has been doing, and they got to have a moment alone together, and Felicia pointed out that she noticed that he's been avoiding her calls, and he says it's because it's hard, because he knows who his brother was and the hell that he put her and Mac through, and all of his loved ones, essentially. And, you know, he says that he feels ashamed for grieving and mourning his brother. And Felicia was just so understanding and kind, and she opened up about how she went to see Ryan at the morgue, which I wish that we seen on screen, but I digress. Basically, she said that she went to go see Ryan at the morgue, hoping that she'd be able to feel compassion and be able to forgive him for what he did now that he's dead, and she was ashamed because she couldn't. And Kevin tried to tell her not to be ashamed about how she felt, and Felicia encouraged him to take his own advice, and it was such a beautiful scene between those two. And then Mac shows up, and the tension there was thick. You could see it, and Mac had been beating himself up because he killed his best friend's brother, even, you know, despite everything that Ryan, you know, did to him and Felicia. Like, he knows that Kevin's got to be feeling something, and, you know, he's gotta blame Mac in some way for killing Ryan. And Kevin admitted to avoiding him and Felicia because of the relief on their faces, but Kevin choked up and talked about how Ryan may have been his brother at birth, but Mac was his brother in life and his best friend, and the both of them just hugged with tears streaming down their face. Guys, I was bawling my eyes out watching it. Even talking about it right now, I'm like tearing up, because oh my god. And then to top it all off, Felicia's there in the corner, tears streaming down her face too, and I lost it, guys. I was ugly crying and trying to hide it. Oh my god. I can't even remember the last time that I was moved by a scene in the show to that extent. And that's a credit to John Lindstrom, John York, and Christina Wagner. 3 incredibly talented actors who have worked with each other for nearly 30 years, you know? Like, and the reality is, I wasn't even watching back then, you know? I've seen bits and pieces of the story, the original story on YouTube, like I'm sure some of you have as well, if you weren't watching back then. And so me being moved is in large part due to their incredible talent and ability to showcase their history together, by how raw and real the performance was. Like, just seeing like John Lindstrom's like lips trembling and the tears, and then like Mac and like Kevin hugging, and then like Mac like just like ugly crying holding him, and I was like, oh my god, holy crap. Like, oh, I was so moved. I was so moved. Alright, let's see. Now I gotta scroll up and see what you guys were talking about. Oh, Mac and Kevin had you crying. Sandy, yeah, I was ugly crying. I'm sorry that didn't move you, Kaiwan. I'm a sucker for good acting and like raw and real scenes that bring the emotion, especially when there's so much history between Mac and Felicia and Kevin. And so like, you know, I'm a sucker for when history is used in a beautiful way like this. And like, you could just see, like, you can't get the chemistry that those three have without their ability to trust in each other, and that trust comes from the years and years and years of, you know, like working together and having that trust among each other and the chemistry. Like, that comes with the amount of time that they've been on the show. No, you know, I disagree with you completely, Kaiwan. Those scenes are necessary, especially because we had Ryan killed, but we didn't get to see the aftermath. Why wasn't Kevin a little bit more angry at his killed brother? Probably because he was a psychopath that tried to murder his friends, I'm assuming. Kaiwan. That's what I would think. Ryan literally kidnapped Kevin, held him against his will in an asylum, and then, you know, put his wife in danger. Of course Kevin's not more angry that his brother was killed. Man. Alright, but let's move on. Let's talk about Cody for a second, since we're talking about Mac. So he actually told Dante the truth, that Mac was in fact his father, and why he initially hid the truth from him, and how he wants to continue to hide the truth because he feels like he doesn't deserve him. Dante, of course, is encouraging him to tell Mac the truth, and I hope he does. And you guys know I like Cody, but even I have to admit, it's hard for me to feel anything but annoyance at Cody's woe is me thing, because he's always alluding to how bad he is, but we don't really know why. Like, yeah, he tried to run a con to get, you know, who he thought was his father's money, which turns out he didn't, you know, inherit at all because he's not really his son. Hey DC, how's it going? Cody just needs to tell the truth. Damn right. Like, here's the thing. Like, I feel like whatever, like, obviously, whatever he's referring to, how bad of a guy he is, has to do with whatever secret him and Dante are hiding from their childhood. But, like, I feel like whatever the secret is between Dante and Cody is probably going to have very little bearing on either of these guys today, as whatever happened was when they were kids at a summer camp. So, like, short of them, like, killing a camp counselor accidentally, or, like, maybe Cody killed a camp counselor accidentally and Dante helped him bury the body, like, I don't think it's, whatever it is that they did, like, I don't think it's going to tie into anybody that we currently care about on screen on GH. So, I don't know. I just don't know. Like, just give us the backstory already. You know, I feel like there's no reason for it to be stretched out this long to learn about Cody's backstory and history with Dante. Because surely it's not going to have that much of an effect on their lives now. Nathan, you said you don't feel bad for Cody. I thought they wouldn't make Cody's son Cody Mack's son after all. I mean, I don't know. I get the like not wanting Mac to have a kid, especially not one like Cody, but I think the reality is like Mac would probably never have a child if they didn't give him a secret love child somewhere else. Not a fan of how it kind of confuses the history of the character of Mac a little bit, puts things into a weird situation timeline wise. It doesn't really work out. But I don't know. I just, the reality is, so it's canon. Mac does have a son. It is Cody. That's established. Let's get to it. That's how I feel. Like, let's just get to it. Let's get to the kind of the core of why Cody, hates himself so much, and to just like just dissect that so we can move on and like give Cody like the meat that we need to like understand the character more, because I think to most people I can see why he is annoying, and like this woe is me act is so, it just seems so like, I don't know, high and mighty or like pity party, and I don't want Cody to be like a woe is me kind of character. Oh, DC said, this reminds me of Cody's past life as Cutter on One Life. See, I didn't see him on One Life, and he was revealed to be the son of Alex Olenov, and that was a dud as well. I mean, I'm all for Mac having a kid because selfishly, it gives Mac more screen time, first of all. And second of all, Mac deserves to have a kid of his own. He's been a character for 30 years on this thing. I think he did appear in 1992, right? 91 or 92. All right. Going through my notes. Okay, on to the mob stuff, guys. So, Sonny and Dex, they got shot by a sniper. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but it almost felt like the sniper was aiming for Dex at first. And actually, Dex does end up taking a bullet, which of course gives GH another reason to have Evan Hoffer be shirtless for the 100th time. Not that I hate it. I'm loving it. But basically, even even Brick shows up and says something to the effect of, how does this guy constantly end up in the line of fire? So it's like they're wanting us to see that Dex may in fact be a wanted target in some way. So I was wondering what you guys thought of that. And also, like, I'm so confused at the Sonny and Dex thing, because Sonny thinks it's best that Dex moves in for a while for protection, leaving me even more confused on whether or not Sonny is on to Dex or suspicious of him, or if he just now suddenly genuinely cares about him. Because there had to be something more. Obviously, Sonny got Brick to look into Dex, and we don't know what the result of that was. So, and we've seen Brick since now, and there was no scenes between Brick and Sonny that kind of alluded to them knowing something about Dex that we don't, or something. Who was Sonny's enemy because it wasn't staged by Sonny? Yeah, because like initially I thought that maybe Sonny staged it to test Dex in some way, but clearly that's not the case. Cody needs depth outside of being a grifter. Yeah, he does. Totally. Jagger's son? We already know Jagger's son. Jagger's son is Stone, but we don't know what's up with him. Stone has autism. And which was the storyline in Night Shift 2. The actor that played Stone unfortunately did pass away. Stone, sorry, just to not confuse people, Stone as in Jagger's son, not Jagger's brother. But yeah, the actor that played Stone when he was a kid passed away. So they could really recast him, but I don't see them bringing him back for anything, because I don't know. Like they could, but I don't see them doing it. DCU said at the end of the day, Sonny sought out Dex at Valentino's gym, not the other way around. True. But a good undercover makes it so that it's your idea to recruit them, not the other way around. Also true. But night shift is what? I hope we get more depth when it comes to Dex because he's just there, but that's just me. No, I agree. Dex needs some more depth too because we really, again, know nothing about that character whatsoever. Like, the only backstory we have now is that he was an army vet. He has some kind of connection to, or he's worked with in the past, the guys that are trying to work with Sonny, I guess. And also that he likes to cook. Like, that's all we know. We don't, and that he likes Jocelyn. There's nothing to him. He's just, you know, a hot bodyguard at this point. The night shift isn't canon in General Hospital. It kind of is, though, because a lot of the stories did carry on, especially from Season 2. Well, I mean, okay, the important stuff from Season 2 did carry on to GH. Robert having cancer was established. Anna being in town when Robert had cancer was established. So, and she was in town because it was when Robin was pregnant with Emma. Thinking maybe he's Sasha's brother or he's Courtney's son, which would explain the animosity between him and Spencer. That would be an interesting twist, DC. Like, I mean, when would Courtney have had him, though? Because I think Dex is supposed to be a little older than Spencer, right? Like, he's an adult and Spencer's, I think, just 20. Sasha's brother could be interesting, but I think they've met, so I feel like they would know. But I don't really remember the history of Sasha's real parents. Heard a rumor that he could be Dante's son? That would be insane. The only mother he could have had is Brenda, who was pregnant and decided to give Dex away. But Brenda ended up pregnant with the Balkan son. Right? Spencer has a problem with Dex, not the other way around. True, true, true. Also, I didn't write this in my notes, but I think I should mention it. Dex and Christina, they got to share scenes, and they had the chemistry in the scenes. Just throwing it out there. I would so be down for Dex and Christina over Dex and Joss. If he's Courtney's son, that means Sonny would spare him. That's true. Maybe she had him when she was a teen or something, and Mike couldn't afford him, so they put him up for adoption. Good theory. That storyline with Brenda and the Balkan was a mess from start to finish. Yeah, you're not wrong. Like, it had potential, though. It really did, but I don't know. Even Vanessa Marcel, like, kind of denies that Brenda has a kid. Like, she didn't buy it even for a second either. Sand, you said you love Dex and Christina. Kaiwan, you said Dex and Christina got fire in your pants. And yeah, Angel, you just want to see more Christina. I agree. More Christina is just, I don't get why. Lexi is such a good actress. Sunny and Christina's scenes seemed a little bit pointless. I will say that. But Maurice and Lexi have such good father-daughter chemistry that, like, sometimes I just enjoy them on screen together. It just is what it is. And that is just knowing the history between the characters and how far they've come in their relationship. So, I know not everyone appreciates scenes like this that don't move a story, but I do appreciate scenes like this from time to time, just to kind of build a necessary chemistry between these characters to establish, like, where they are at amongst each other, just letting them have a normal conversation. Like, I don't mind scenes like that. We're getting a lot of those scenes, and I do get why it's boring for some, but for me, I don't mind when the show takes its time to establish moments like this. I think the main writer doesn't know how to write for gay people, and that's sort of a Disney thing. Yeah, but Disney has a lot of, gaybies as well. They have a lot of gay characters. It's just maybe it's our writers that just suck. Or maybe because it's the soap genre, and there's a lot of, ignorant people that are just closed-minded. Maybe that factors into it a little bit. But, Christina can have a boyfriend. You know what I mean? Sure, she's bisexual. It doesn't mean that, it's going to be talked about. Unless she cheats on Dex with a girl. But I think at this point, Christina would just be glad to be in a relationship. You know what I mean? She's been single a long time. She needs to get back in the field. DC said, to me, the Balkan is up there with the third Carly and Lord Voldemort. AKA they who must not be named. Oh, I know exactly. Took me a second there, but now I get what you mean. Nathan, you said GH doesn't really care for Lexi. She should be on more, but the show still has too many damn characters still. True. Some shows are very genuine about their gay characters. Women showed up, and some others days General Hospital is not. Disney is making him at the characters he doesn't want to write in General Hospital. Not gaybies. I had to say it. It's the older and religious audience. Well, if they tune out, they tune out. The reality is, viewers are going to come and go no matter what. And there's a large part of the population that doesn't give a shit about this kind of stuff. So, be it as that may for the closed-minded ones, a lot of them, not to throw shade, but a lot of them are old and dying. So, thankfully each generation gets a bit more tolerable towards differences in people, and yeah, there's definitely people out there trying to fight that in the world these days, but it's just a loud minority, I feel. A loud minority. Alright, but back to it. Let's stay on topic. Where was I? Okay, so Sunny is also, because of the danger, upping the amount of guards around everyone he cares about as a precaution, and everyone notices. Nina is now starting to feel the realities of being Sunny's girlfriend, even though she knew going in there who he was. But I guess she's been convincing herself that everyone has been exaggerating about the danger surrounding Sunny and how she believed he truly changed after Nixon falls, which, kind of just homes in the reality that Nina is in her own world and not all there mentally. You know what I mean? Nina, girl, you've been tripping if you've been trying to convince yourself that Sunny's mob thing isn't that bad. Of course, Carly is aware something bad is going down, and she understands that she needs to be careful, and that she's gotta watch out for her kids a bit more and accept the extra bodyguards, and that Donna can't stay over Sunny's house right now. She's very much. I think she handled that very maturely. She's like, yeah, Sunny, I know that you're going to try to protect us. I don't want my kids to be without their father, so you better deal with the situation. Carly's kind of strong on that front of, understanding that this is Sunny's world and this can happen from time to time. And I feel like it's going to give Nina another reason to hate Carly, because she's going to see how calm Carly is about this, and it's gonna set her off. She still wants Mike. DC, you were saying, Lucas was part of the Jerome family. It could have been modern Romeo and Juliet or Romeo and Jules storyline. Star-crossed lovers from mob families. That would be funny. Nina is another Kate Howard. I love Nina, but I'm realizing who she is these days. Yeah, like, you know, there are moments where I'm more Team Nina than Team Carly, and that's more so because I'm like, Carly annoys me a lot, and it's literally like I just want Carly to kind of face consequences sometimes. Whereas Nina, she tends to more often, you know, become the town pariah, rightfully so. Nina and Sunny about to break up because of the danger. Where have I seen or heard this before? Ah, yes, J-Sam when they broke up. And Nina's little mind, it's all Carly's fault. Yeah. And it's funny because Carly and Nina are basically having to set aside their differences right now because of the nurses' ball. There was a bit of what I felt was unnecessary drama this week between Nina and, like, the nurses' ball committee that included Bobby, of course. Like, Bobby and Carly and even Maxie and Brooklyn seem to all think that they would have to grovel at Nina's feet for the nurses' ball to be held at the Metro Court. But, like, you know, like, surely they wouldn't have, there's no reason for anyone to think that Nina would be that petty. Like, yeah, Nina's petty when it comes to Carly, but she ain't canceled the nurses' ball petty. Like, especially, you know, Nina knows how important this is in the town, and she's always sort of helped out at the nurses' ball. She clearly likes the nurses' ball. Why wouldn't she keep it at their hotel? Like, that just seems so silly and unnecessary to me. But she did make sure to take a moment of Carly's time within those scenes, with Drew next to her, I should say, to allude to knowing far more than she thinks she does. Goading Carly, basically. But I'm not too sure if Carly and Drew put two and two together in that. Like, because they didn't ask each other, like, do you think Nina knows about us? So I don't know. Kate Howard is so much better than Nina. I do agree with that. Okay, Kate Howard is better than Nina, but I only liked Kate Howard when Megan Ward was playing her. I didn't like the second Kate Howard. We don't talk about Connie Falconeri. We don't talk about freaking what's that personality disorder that they always use in soaps? I hate that storyline. I hate the split personality, DID. I hate DID storylines. I don't want to ever see one on GH ever again. It was so ridiculous. So ridiculous. DC, you said, who knows? So maybe Dex is Nina's son. Oh God. Please don't. No more. Nina doesn't need more kids. Kate Howard, her shizzle together. When Kate Howard walked into a room, you knew that she was that chick. Why do I hate DID storylines? It was just so dumb. Like I know. I think was it One Life to Live that had a DID storyline that was like supposed to be iconic. I watched scenes of that, if it's the show that I'm thinking of, and thought that even that was ridiculous. I don't know. And basically, the two person, like when they had Kate and Connie, first of all, I don't think for a second that Connie Falconeri and Kate Howard was like a split personality and Connie was the real. Like, none of that made sense to me. Because, you know, the origin story of Kate Howard, Connie Falconeri, it was a pretty well written one, you know? Like, she was Connie Falconeri in Bensonhurst, but she changed her life and willingly changed her personality to get the career that she wanted. It's not like Kate Howard was manifested out of like a trauma and like, you know what I mean? Like, so it was just dumb to begin with because of that. And then, you know, Ron Carlivati was writing the Kate Connie DID stuff, you know, shortly right after he came in there. And like, I just I don't know. It was so dramatic and ridiculous and extra. and so cartoony. Like, Connie was a cartoon character. And it just kind of like, I feel like it shat on the original Kate Connie story that we saw at the beginning of the character's tenor. I honestly thought they were going to give Liz a DID storyline. I remember thinking that too when she was starting to go through her little mental stuff, but I'm glad that they didn't. I was dreading if they were going to go that direction, and I'm glad that they didn't. Nathan, you said you loved Megan Ward as Kate. As much as I loved Kelly Sullivan, Kate wasn't the right character for her. Yeah, like, Megan Ward, the way that she played Kate, like, there was a lot of confidence there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and she played it well. And so I was really glad that they brought Megan Ward's Kate back for Julian's demise. And for Ava's fever dream as well. Angeli said it annoyed me that Nina became editor-in-chief of Crimson after Connie Kate died. It should have been Maxie. Yeah, it should have been Maxie. It was ridiculous that it wasn't Maxie. We'll agree to disagree, Jake. I do not like DID storylines. DC said, I agree, it was weird that Maxie didn't come to town to own Crimson. Maxie knew way more than Nina did. Yeah, Maxie was practically running the magazine herself, and Nina was just like the front. Like, Maxie was doing all the things to save Crimson. You said, so technically when they rewrote it, they had it because Kate Howard had her son with the guy from Bensonhurst that Tracy Quartermain married. Yeah, but like that, you know... I don't know. I just didn't like it. Didn't like it. And I know people were praising Kelly Sullivan in those scenes where she was like remembering the rape, but I thought that was just so poorly acted. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, what are y'all talking about? What else? What's the deal with the Brooklyn accent? Because she, yeah, right? Like, giving her that Brooklyn accent, like, yeah, of course she would have had a Brooklyn accent back in the day, but, like, you know, she trained herself to, like, talk a certain way so that she would be seen as more classy. Oh, you think that Liz was supposed to be the hook killer? I think that she was going to be a red herring. Megan Ward's Kate, to me, is who I think of when they say Kate Howard. Did you like Ron's writing at all for GH? I think he did a great job with the 50th anniversary year, that whole year. Minus the One Life to Live characters coming on. Like, I hated that. And I was glad that they had to get ushered off screen. But yeah, like when they first came on 2012, like the end of 2012, all the way through most of 2013, I think that Ron did a fantastic job. After that, everything fell apart, and I was furious because characters were getting written out of character. There were moments where like they had to dumb down characters just to make certain stories last, and that's where Ron fell off for me. It's like once he didn't have the coattails of the 50th anniversary year to kind of mooch off of, he just lost everything else. Like it just proved that like he wasn't a good writer. He was just good at having nostalgic moments, which is necessary for 50th anniversary. And I think because he does seem to have like a campy vibe for his writing, it worked really well. Again, because of nostalgia, people want things to be a little bit cheesy and memorable and nostalgic when it comes to like bringing these characters back. So like even though we've seen ridiculous things like Lucy thinking that John McBain was a vampire, like it was funny and it worked because they're just kind of having a nod to GH's spin-off history, and like Faison and Duke, like, you know, bringing back these crazy characters and having like prosthetic masks and stuff. Like, it was cheesy, but like it was just a fun ride, and I don't mind that for something when it's like celebrating a 50th year. Why did everyone hate the One Life to Live people on GH? It's like GH and One Life to Live people never get along. It's giving the blood versus the Crips. Well, first, because they got so much screen time. Like, these are characters that, you know, most of the GH audience, because, like, well, I feel like everyone just makes the assumption that everyone watches all the soaps from ABC. If you're, you know, if you watch GH, you watch One Life and All My Children. I didn't watch either One Life to Live or All My Children. I didn't know who the fuck these characters were. I didn't give a shit about their backstories. I wasn't invested, and they're talking about all these characters that we don't know, and I'm like, why do I care? Why? I don't know these people. Why are they getting so much screen time? Why are we getting more screen time for these characters from a different TV show than, like, the GH characters on the 50th year of the show when we're supposed to be celebrating the GH characters? So that was my reasoning. I'm like, I don't know who these characters are. I don't care. I do think things like Todd and Carly, like, I think Todd and Carly had chemistry. Didn't work so much when Todd became Franco, for obvious reasons. And like the Star Manning, she's just, the character in general wasn't that likable to me. The only character that I didn't really mind was John McBain, because they could connect him to other characters and it made sense. Like, they had John McBain and Anna Devane knowing each other, and that really worked in kind of like establishing him away from, you know, the One Life to Live show. And they gave him, like, you know, good relationships with people in the PCPD. And of course, he had a bit of a relationship with Sam as well. And that kind of worked in their favor because of Caleb and Livy. So John was probably the only One Life to Live character that I didn't mind overall. Like, he could have stayed on and I wouldn't have been too fazed by it, because they didn't really talk about John's past that much. Whereas, you know, they constantly did with Todd and Star. They really don't have interesting storyline. Certain characters have more airtime over the vets. Sadly, One Life to Live characters appear on GH. Todd and Carly didn't have chemistry at all. I think they had chemistry. But you know, that's in the eye of the beholder too. The only other soap I care about is YNR. Sandy, you said Drew's still playing Ryan Lavery. That reminds me of Ryan and Carly meeting in that elevator. In the, like, what if these characters met things that SoapNet was doing. John McBain had a vendetta against Sonny Corinthos. Yeah, like, I think, yeah, exactly. Like, I think that the only character they did a good job with that was from One Life to Live was John McBain, because they gave him connections to the GH characters, whereas Todd and Star were just in there as themselves, talking about their past lives, and their past lives was, you know, oozing into the show. But, you know, they just kind of threw them in there and, like, made them a big part of the show. Whereas John, like, they gave him enough backstories that connected him to GH characters that it seemed a lot more seamless than Todd and Star. And then, of course, they were also bringing in all these other One Life to Live characters to make appearances. You know, and again, we're just seeing these characters, and it's just like, who is this? Why are they important? Why are they here? That, like, it just bothered me. I get that. I totally get that people who were sad One Life to Live was gone were probably having the time of their lives seeing them mingle with GH characters. But for me, I'm like, no. I don't think Cameron Matheson knows how to play anything outside of that Ryan Lavery Hallmark type, honestly. Yeah, maybe. Well, remember Johnny Zakar killed Star's baby and husband, which was their connection. Yeah, but like that was just like it wasn't like a history thing. Like it just so happened to happen, you know, when they came into town. And in the end, that's really what got GH sued in the first place, because they killed off characters like whatever character she was in relation, like her boyfriend and her daughter, right? Like killed them off, and then GH got sued because One Life to Live was coming back, and they killed off characters without permission, and they were giving these characters a lot of screen time, which they were not supposed to do that. So it bit Ron Carlivati and Frank Valentini in the ass, and they deserved it. And that's that on that. Honestly shocked Susan Lucci hasn't made it. Lucy hasn't. Yeah. Made a cameo. I am too, actually. And that's why I think I was even more frustrated with Ron and Frank. Because, like, this clearly was just, like, a bias. Like, they wrote One Life to Live. They were the writer and the head producer of One Life. So they only cared about the One Life characters. If it was truly about just, like, making GH this hybrid soap and featuring these All My Children characters, where were the All My Children characters? I would have been just as pissed, for the record, but like seriously, it wasn't about that for them. They just hated that the show ended, and they still wanted to write for it, basically. So they basically tried to turn GH into One Life to Live, and it backfired. I think Star's boyfriend and baby turned out to be alive. Yeah, like they had to fix it. when GH got sued, they had to fix it because they had to somehow. And I obviously I didn't watch One Life to Live when they went to, what was it, Prospect Park, so I don't know where they rolled with that. But like the fact is, Ron shouldn't have killed off characters that he didn't own the rights to. It's funny when you think about it. A TV show lawsuit over TV show characters. That Prospect Park lawsuit. What a life. I mean, honestly, it was well deserved. Did not like this Heather Weber recast. I'm sorry, it just wasn't doing it for me. I liked her. I liked Abby Mills as Heather Weber. Like, and listen. You know, I love me Robin Mattson. I think that she is Heather Weber. But they kind of gave, I don't know, Abby managed to give Heather Weber a bit more, I don't know, she just made her more layered. Whereas Robin kind of goes full on with the camp. I felt like Abby Mills kind of gave her, like, almost some sympathetic qualities. In the sense that I could, like, sense the logic that Heather was thinking in her mind. And, you know, she just played a different kind of crazy for Heather, and I appreciated that. But the only reason why that we had Abby play Heather is because Robin Mattson actually had surgery. So it wasn't about her not returning, it was a health thing. That's why she couldn't return for the story. For all we know, Robin Mattson very well may come back as Heather down the road. We don't know. In a way, GH now is kind of like One Life to Live when looking at the cast as a whole. We got GH vets with the characters, but new characters, which isn't bad. But what about the legacy characters? Well, here's the thing. I think that, and I'm going to compare it to like the Guza era. I feel like Frank Valentini definitely utilizes the veteran characters on the show far more than Guza ever did. You know, and I'm grateful for that because we get to see Finola Hughes and Jeannie Francis and John Lindstrom and John York and Christina Wagner and, you know, all these legacy characters that have been around for 40 years in storylines today that we'd never see them in if we were still in the Guza era. DCU said Robin Mattson was my Heather Weber. She's everyone's Heather Weber, don't get me wrong. She's the OG. Well, she's not the OG. But she's played her long enough to be considered the OG. You know what I mean? Yeah, she very well might come back next time. One Life to Live is postmodern. You know, General Hospital was always a bit mystery sort of film writing style. DC said, I feel bad for cursing the Guza era, not realizing I would one day realize those were the good days. You never know how good you had it till it's gone. It's true, but like, you know, I think, okay, I'll say this. Guza was a great writer. Jill Phelps was an awful executive producer. And that inevitably was GH's downfall. So it, as much as Guza kind of really seemed to have like a hard-on for Jason, I think that he definitely knew how to write romances. He definitely knew how to write sweep storylines and big action-packed scenes and good romance and, you know, all that. But when you have a executive producer like Jill Phelps, and then we also had kind of the reality of who was I forget his name, but the guy that was in charge of ABC Daytime, he certainly didn't help matters either. So I think it was a collection of those three that really resulted in the demise of GH. Guza years had strong scriptwriters. Yeah, I feel like the people that were working under Guza had incredibly intelligent dialogue for the characters, and you could definitely see the difference when Ron and his writing team came on. And like the conversations were no longer as intelligent. It seemed like a lot of things were dumbed down. Brian Franz, thank you, DC. But yeah, I do think that Guza had some incredibly good dialogue writers, and I do miss that about the show. Guza had more power than Jill Phelps when he returned in 2002, even though she still had her faults after that. Yeah, but Phelps didn't want to see the veterans, though. So she was largely responsible for the lack of veterans, or the fact that veterans were being killed left, right, and center. She was, you know, that was all her. And even some of the actors that were veteran characters have been on the record stating as such. So, you know, like, I feel like she was responsible for the lack of veterans far more than Guza. Guza was writing the stories, but he didn't have a say on, you know, who got the most screen time and things like that. Although I think he definitely had an obsession with Jason for sure. Because you can give a character screen time without making him the unsung hero of every storyline. So that's that on that. Nathan, you said Guza was a great writer. The problem was Jill Phelps as EP. Yeah, Guza didn't even want to kill half the Qs back then. Yeah, the killing of the Qs was all Jill, for sure. Guza was a hack under Wendy Rich too. Yeah, was he? Just look at what he did to AJ. Do you know what's crazy? I think John Wick was influenced by the guy that wrote John Wick, like Jason. See, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen John Wick. I can't speak to that. Ooh, it's getting late, guys. Let's continue so we can end this, alright? Because we're getting off topic a little bit, and it's getting late. Let's talk about Willow for a second. Michael and Willow got news from Obrecht that she is officially their donor. However, there's a snag. They have to wait until a certain medication is out of her system before they're able to do the procedure. As if the storyline hasn't been stretched out enough, they still managed to find a way to stretch it out even longer. And I feel like I can speak for most of us here when we just want this storyline over with. We know Willow's not going to die. We know. Get it over with. Let her have the procedure and let us move on. Like, oh. Man, I can't with this story anymore. What else? Let's talk about the teen scene, although I guess they're like 20 now, so I guess they're not really teens anymore. But the youngins, let's talk about the youngins. Cam gathers Trina, Spencer, and even Jocelyn over to Kelly's to let them know that he's going to Stanford and leaving Port Charles. Honestly, I was a little surprised he gave Jocelyn the time of day, and that he said that he still considers her a friend. But if the character is leaving, there's not much point in having him leave too bitter towards Jocelyn, I guess. But I am disappointed. We talked about it on Wednesday. I am disappointed that we're not going to get Messy Cameron. Spencer does seem to think that he might be leaving for other reasons, though. I gotta admit, Spencer is pretty insightful. Like, even though he's incredibly pompous, he does seem to read people quite well. He even suspects that Dex is lying to Sunny about something, and, you know, he doesn't really have much of a reason to hate Dex, right? So, it's just interesting. It's interesting. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, they also... Okay, so Spencer, he definitely has a cast iron side to him that is alive and well, and that may potentially lead to a downfall at some point. He shows up at Spring Ridge just to basically threaten Esme about Ace, and all Laura and Kevin are trying to do is simply get Esme to trust him so that she too can see that prison is no place for a baby, and Spencer is getting in the way of that, and poor Laura, like, she's so frustrated. She's like, can you just be quiet? The goal is to get the baby out of this prison. Like, and Spencer is making it harder. And Laura and Kevin, they did try to convince Esme, but she admits that it's complicated because when she sees Kevin, she sees Ryan, and when she sees Laura, she sees the mother and grandmother of Castines who want to take her baby away from her. So I get that, and Laura gets that, and Kevin gets that too. So they just, you know, they didn't push, and they just respectfully left. Then Trina also pays Esme a visit, basically just to see for herself if Esme is lying about her memory loss. You know, as a bit of a test. And even Esme catches on to that, but, you know, Esme stays honest, and Trina stays honest too. And she can tell that Esme is genuinely telling the truth. Trina thinks it's best that they drop the charges against her. And I totally get her logic. First of all, I'll say that. Because Esme, through everything she's done, she looks like the victim right now. Trina's not wrong about that. She's got no memory, she was kidnapped and locked in a tower, and there's no way to prove that she wasn't also forced by Ryan to do his bidding when it came to vengeance on Ava. I totally get that. Esme would likely get off on a technicality because of that. I do not doubt that. I think if they were to go to trial, that's exactly what would happen, and I think we'd get more angry about it. Or she'd get very little time and still keep the baby with her in prison. She'd probably have to do some time in Spring Ridge, you know? But I think everyone's main goal is essentially they're trying to focus on the baby and having the baby out of prison. And Trina's speaking to that, and she kind of, she meets with the gang at Sunny's house, actually, with Spencer and Joss and Cameron, and of course Dex is there too, and they had to like not be awkward, but they were awkward. I don't think Trina and Spencer noticed, but Trina explains the reasonings, and, all four of the teens are down to have the charges drop against Esme for now. And, they fully expect that if Esme gets her memories back, they can just, bring the charges back up and use it to their advantage. Because, right now, Trina doesn't see Esme as a threat anymore. She just wants to be a mom to that baby and be done with it. And I really don't think that she's faking, you guys. I really don't think Esme's faking. But, yeah, one day she could get her memory back and start scheming again, and that's going to bite them in the ass. For sure it's going to bite them in the ass. Like, because she's going to, when she gets her memories back, she's going to play, she's going to lie about having her memories back for as long as she can and get up to something sinister that's going to put vengeance against Trina and Spencer and Joss and the whole 9 yards. But the thing is, I think as well, Esme with her former personality, wasn't very smart, and she was very bad at hiding her poker face. Everyone could truly read her like a book. So I think if she does get her memory back, she's gonna be bad at pretending to not have her memory back. I think. I don't know. Someone's gonna catch on to her right away, I think, if she does get her memory back and starts to play or be mischievous again. We'll see. We'll see. Time will tell. Alright. Nathan, you said, can't say I blame Spencer for how he feels when it comes to Dex. He doesn't trust the guy. Kaiwan, you said, I think or Spencer's in love with Jocelyn? I don't know. Spencer doesn't seem to really be in love with Jocelyn, in my opinion. Just wants to kill Dex, even though he likes Trina. I think he only likes her because she's exotic. What? No. Angel, you said Spencer told Sunny that Joss and Dex are screwing. Sunny didn't care. True. I forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me, Angel. Wow, do any crime and have a baby and go free. I mean, like, listen, like, that's just how GH is with certain, you know, villains that constantly get away with everything. Not only does she go free, she'll get to live with the mayor. Oh man, you're not wrong. Spencer will be proven right. I don't blame him for being angry when it comes to Esme. I just wish he was out of the storyline when it comes to Esme and Ace. She'll get her memory back once she gets boinked on the head somehow. You know, I'm sure, like, maybe... because obviously Heather's still in the picture, because we see that Heather sent Esme a letter. We don't see what's in it yet, but she seemed shocked at whatever was in the letter. So I feel like whenever Esme does get her memory back, it's gonna somehow be Heather's fault. For sure. She'll get her memory back once she gets one. Oh yeah, I already read that. Yeah, but like, I don't know. Heather's going to be responsible for her memory coming back. And then they'll have the mother-daughter relationship that Heather wants. But I think that Heather's going to go after Laura first. That declaration that Heather made to Laura before she got hauled away. She ain't done with Laura, for sure. Alright. Finally, let's talk about the Victor situation. That dude is unraveling at the seams since learning he can no longer get it up. He even tried to threaten Elizabeth in public in front of several witnesses. And then Carly was one of them, and she grabbed him and said, "Back the hell off, Cassadine." And Laura Wright so freaking channeled Sarah Brown in that moment. I heard Sarah in Laura's voice when she said that. I loved it. I don't know if you guys felt like that. I felt like that. Carly was like, for that split second, OG Carly. And I'm glad that Laura Wright has the capability to bring that out of herself sometimes. Do you think Esme should be with Michael in this parallel universe? No. No, I don't. I don't want Michael needs to be off the show. Michael doesn't need another relationship in this universe or any other one. Michael needs to be off screen. Back to it though. Carly and Elizabeth had a moment after she had saved Elizabeth from Victor's wrath, where Elizabeth shared that she, what she did to help Nicholas with Esme, and she says that it helped her see. Sorry, guys. Sorry, that threw me off. I was getting a phone call. Carly and Elizabeth had a moment. I have to look at my notes because that threw me off. Sorry, guys. Okay, so what she did for Nicholas, in regards to Esme, helped her see that her parents might have had valid reasons or why they felt that they were doing the right thing to protect their daughter. So she doesn't hate them as much as she used to. And Carly gave Elizabeth back the picture that she had taken and snuck away from her the last time they had a moment together. And Elizabeth thanked her for it, even though she's like, that was a violation of my privacy. Super weird. Nathan, you agree about that scene? I imagine Sarah J. Brown and even Tamara Brown when Carly told off Victor. Yeah, right? Like I got Sarah Brown vibes from that moment. And I like that we got to see that a little bit this week. Carly is not supposed to be enemies. Oh, Carly and Liz are not supposed to be enemies? Or are supposed to be enemies. Yeah, but they've always, because of like the fact that their kids dated, it really kind of softened things between them anyway. So, and have Carly and Elizabeth even talked about Jocelyn and Cameron breaking up? Has that conversation even happened yet? I'm surprised if it hasn't. But I guess Elizabeth's been pretty busy. Anyway. Let's move on. Let's wrap things up. So, the Glory Days gang of Anna, Robert, Felicia, Laura, Lucy, and with Valentine in tow are still working on bringing Victor down using Eileen, and they get her to reveal to him that Robert has the necklace, and Victor, of course, wants her to snag it, which is a part of their plan as well, because they put fake coordinates on the diamond that replace the real ones that Anna is currently trying to decipher to see what Victor does with it. But the gang might have more problems on their hands because Lucy is antsy and she's seeing that the nurse's ball is being worked on. She hates that she's not a part of it, and she decides to take things in her own hands and manages to escape the safe house that they've been hiding out in. And we get a throwback moment because Lucy shows up at the Metro Court disguised as like a mousy librarian, which is the exact same way she first appeared on the show however many years ago it was. So I loved that. Like, it's now starting to feel like we're truly on the heels of celebrating GH's 60th year, and I hope that it extends beyond the 1st of April, because, you know, like, we did get one hell of a celebration for the 50th, and I feel like the 60th should be the same way. Alright, you have a good night, Sandy. Oh, enjoy your cruise. Have a good vacation. Lucy can't be patient enough these days, huh? Nope, she can't. She never could, though. But yeah, I mean, this is so gonna backfire on Lucy, but I'm gonna enjoy seeing her as this mousy librarian. And I don't know if they're gonna go a campy route with this. I think that Lucy is going to manage to go unnoticed by most of the town in her mousy librarian mode. As long as she manages to stay away from Victor. And maybe she'll reveal her, you know... Maybe they'll have like a kind of throwback scene of her transforming herself into the Lucy Co. that we all know and love. Just in time for the nurse's ball. I wouldn't hate that. Wouldn't hate that. Because I'd love the callback to it. But yeah, the only thing she thought that Gregory was drunk when he fell over and was slurring his words. I don't think that's the case. I think it's a health thing. But Alexis was pretty condescending about it. So I don't know. Child, how will nobody notice her? I mean, as long as she stays away from the people that know her well. Although, I think in the preview we see Maxie get grabbed, and I think that Lucy is the one that grabs her. So she's probably going to reveal herself to Maxie so that the nurse's ball goes off without a hitch with her help. Hopefully going unnoticed by everyone else. I think they should give Alexis a a better love interest. I mean, they're not even really making him a love interest, are they? Like, I don't think that either one of them have showed romantic interest in each other. Alexis deserved that diss by Gregory. Yeah, she kind of did. She did. But again, that's one of those storylines that I'm not that interested in. So, I don't know. But things are getting exciting in other fronts, so I'm looking forward to whatever's going to happen on GH this week, particularly with Victor, because obviously they're going to give him those fake coordinates and see where it leads him to, and hopefully that'll give them a clue as to what Victor is really looking for. It could be MS that Gregory has, maybe. We'll find out soon enough, hopefully. Hopefully they don't stretch it out long again, like, you know, other health storylines on the show. I didn't like that dig coming from Gregory. Yes, Alexis overstepped, but at the same time, she's trying to help the guy. She is trying to help him, but I just get, like, you know, Alexis acting like a know-it-all and being like, you know, you're definitely a drunk. So, like, it did seem pretty condescending. Like, yeah, it certainly looks similar. But I think even Sam was like, did you smell alcohol on him? Like, you know, so even Sam called her out. Like, maybe that was too confrontational of you. Think he has a virus? Who knows? We'll see. We'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell. All right, y'all. But that's it on GH, or all the thoughts and notes that I had on it. Did you guys like GH this week? Let me know. Again, this Wednesday, I'm not gonna live stream. So I will see you guys on the following Sunday. But then I think I will live stream the next Wednesday, because that, you know, I think that we should have at least one stream before we get to the anniversary episode of GH, and I think that one we'll use to just maybe, I don't know, we'll just have a fun Wednesday next weekend. Sorry, I'm tired, y'all. I think that we'll have a good Wednesday stream next week. And just watch the first episode of General Hospital in honor of the 50th anniversary episode, or 60th anniversary episode. We've watched it before, although I think it wasn't in a live stream version. So now we're going to watch it in a live stream version, so we can chat while we watch. Old school GH, the OG. Black and white and all. But yeah, so thanks so much for watching, everyone. I'm going to get my ass to bed because I'm tired, frankly, obviously. So if you liked the live stream, give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to, and I will catch you guys next weekend. Peace out. Mwah.